still in the 6th grade. I got the high top boots that had a little pocket on the side here where you could put a jackknife in.
Oh.
Which probably is illegal now.
And then once I got a stationary steam engine. It actually produced steam, and you know, we built toys from the Tinker Toy, like windmill, stuff like that, and put a stored cord for the belt to drive it. It would last about 10 minutes. There was a little tank underneath with alcohol, and then there was a wick on there, and you lit that, and that would generate steam. There was a whistle on it and everything.
What do you have for a tree?
Well, we had a regular Christmas tree, and then there was candles on it.
Ooh, did you only light them though? Like on Christmas Eve then?
Yeah, or for a little while during Christmas Day or something, but they were blown out again, yeah. I remember in church they used to have a big tree, and then they had like a circular rack built around the tree, and there the candles were on. But there was always like two adults sitting up there watching the tree.
With a bucket of water?
Yeah, I guess there was water there. No, you didn't have to be afraid to get electrocuted with the candle. You had to use it.
Did you have any other decorations on it?
What?
Did you have any other decorations on it?
Ebony?
On the tree?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there were ornaments on.
What about your first Christmases? How'd you get to church?
Well, I don't know about the first Christmas.
You got carried.
You wouldn't have had card.
Exactly.
You didn't have no card in it, the first ones, did you?
Well, like I wouldn't know about the very first ones, but yeah, we had my dad had a 29 Buick. See, then I would have been 9 years old.
But before that?
And that I don't remember.
He's blacked it out.
We did walk to church sometimes. We had services in the afternoon, and we'd walk. But this was, well, it would be maybe like February or something like that.
Did you have like special foods you ate on Christmas? Did you have special foods that you would eat on Christmas or anything?
We used to have the, I don't know, maybe you can remember, the little cherry ornaments with a wire in them.
Oh yeah, I remember them growing up.
Hang them over the tree like that. But they done away with them, I guess.
Did you have a Christmas goose?
People, you know, broke the wire off, and then they got that wire in their mouth.
Oh,
Wait, it was a real cherry you could eat?
No.
They're cherry candies on both ends. We had them on our trees at home. I remember that.
It looked like that. But
Yeah,
those are
but they were real. They looked like only one both sides. And then,
Yeah, they were regular candy.
Yeah.
That's on both sides. You just can't see the
oh yeah, the other one's hanging down, but then they were candy, and then you could eat them.
Oh, I never saw them with candy.
Yeah.
And we had a lot of those, like, you got those bead jets from candy you could eat.
No, that
Edible
was
tree.
Any big Christmas snowstorms that you remember?
Was it only a Cat's Day that the snow went uphill both ways?
Well, I don't know just too much about Christmas, but the worst storm we ever was on Thanksgiving Day. My brother was come home from service. My folks, we came out to St. Luke's there to church at 8 o'clock. They got through. We were all supposed to go by my mother at dinner time. And I picked up Eddie and Marcella, and I think they had Robert already. By the way, you must remember that, huh?
Is that on that road going to Fort Brand?
Yeah.
Where we got stuck?
Big snowbank, you know, and I said to Eddie, well, I'm going to goose it and get through that. Well, when we got to the stop, the car was like this over on top of the snowbank. We had to get that guy, was Zasker, lived there. Team of horses and pull us out backwards, and 2:30 we had a couple sandwiches at home.
Whoops.
Never made it.
And
I can remember.
And the snow was as high as the light.
Yeah, but that's when light poles were only like 40 high.
We could touch it.
Oh no, those light poles were. To the wires was at
In
least
the 50s,
12. Yeah, at least 12 feet.
And we could touch the wires real easy.
And then we got a new, the town bought a new Caterpillar with a snowplow. And I know we had been up to Berglund's to the birthday, it was sometime in January, and they came that far and then turned around and went back to widen the road. And they plowed the whole telephone line down from the bridge way up to the barn where Eddie lived. Well, he said they, it had a lot of power. They couldn't see it was snow was blowing over the, I think the telephone company came out a couple of days later and they laid a temporary cable over the snowbank. Well, the poles were all broke,
Yeah. Oh, wow.
But that one winter, when was, I mean, I was older already too, and down by Wyman where they lived there, how many days did they buck that snow at that Caterpillar? That time, you said.
Well,
That road was shut.
our roads were shut for 3 weeks.
Oh.
In fact, 57 was shut for 2 weeks.
Oh my
gosh.
The county had well, we called it a steam shovel, but it really wasn't steam, it was mechanical. But they opened the hills with that big shovel. And then they hired Manitowoc County, had just bought a new rotary plow. And then they hired Manitowoc County to plow 57 the rest of the way to Hilbert. I know when we went to Linton Services, it was just like driving
No tunnels?
in a tunnel. It was a
Oh my
wall. There'd be an
gosh.
opening wherever a side
A
road
road,
was.
yeah.
Oh, how cool
believe
that
that.
would be.
But otherwise,
Well, that's
it
because it
was.
never snows that much anymore.
No, it hasn't.
Yeah, what is it?
Global warming.
And I remember a lot of times like hauling
Mr.
milk,
Shingler has taught us all well.
you couldn't get through the roads. We always had a pincher along. You drive through the field and you cut the fence wire wherever you could make it.
Wow.
Really?
I understand it snowed a lot, but did we, we're like 20 below common then?
Yeah, was it really cold then too? I mean, like,
Yeah, it was cold too.
barely, yes. With no heating.
Once I remember driving into town with the sleigh. I had a bad toothache. They took me to the dentist. We had one of them big buffalo robes covered up under the sleigh box until we got there. We often visited the neighbors with, well, at that time we called it a cutter, but it was a one-horse sleigh. It'd be one horse.
Did you warm up racks? They always say they warmed up racks to put in the bottom of the
What are you
sleigh.
doing?
You do that, or
I
bricks.
don't remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To keep the
Federwitz's
sleigh warm?
rolls are pretty warm-blooded.
Some
Yeah,
of them.
Schwabers were cold.
Yeah, there's one person like that.
I know, it's like, what happened to those jeans? I didn't get
Morgan, are you still tooting around?
Yeah.
Okay.
You ready for your jammies?
down where Grandpa's